This is Your Choice, Your Freedom with Ron Green. Experience true Texas opinions from a man who's sick of arguing and ready to offer solutions to real issues across America.
Don't touch that dial. It's time for the Ron Green Show, brought to you by YourChoiceYourFreedom.com. Go and check it out, or better yet, go to the Facebook page. Okay, now that I got that little plug in, I want to introduce my guest today, coming back for some more punishment. Why this guy keeps coming back to get the crap beat out of him, I have no idea. Butch Lord on my left. He is a comedian, currently at Hyenas and Sundance Square.
Yes,
right?
sir.
And you do something else at Hyenas, don't you? Don't you run some kind of a class or something?
Yes, I teach a comedy workshop, and I also I develop talent for Hyenas. So, like I said, when I started there 3 years ago, we had 6 local MCs. We now got 56 local MCs.
Excellent.
So,
Are they funny?
They are. As a matter of fact, and I do showcases
Are
from
they
time to
funnier
time.
than you?
There are a few. Darn it.
There
I
are a
hate
few?
to say that, but there are.
Okay.
Although they're so new, I'm still funnier now.
Okay.
But they're going to be way funnier.
First rule of business, just so you know,
Uh-huh.
nobody's funnier than you. Okay, and on my right, joining us today is Shannon
Magali.
Magali. Exactly.
Magali.
I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with that. I apologize for it anyway, and I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself because I don't want to leave anything out that he feels like he would like for you folks to know. So, if you'd like to tell him what you're.
Basically, I was a person working day to day, and I received an email, and it was an invitation to go to the Arizona border. I joined the Minuteman movement, and I've been a Minuteman ever since, and been doing patrols on the Texas border and watching the immigration issue for about 12 years now.
Okay, excellent.
A Minuteman.
So, well, that's good. You're naturally a perfect guest for this show. Jill did an excellent job because what we're going to talk about is, it says here a pardon for Sheriff Joe Arpaio, but I think what we really need to discuss before we get to the pardon part is exactly what it is he supposedly did that requires a pardon in the first place. Now then, I want to read this because Jill did an excellent job of writing this, and I couldn't say it any better. Arpaio was found guilty last month of criminal contempt of court for continuing patrols targeting immigrants. And that targeting immigrants point is something we're going to get to in a minute. In the U.S., illegally, despite a court order in a racial profiling case, he could face up to 6 months in prison, but won't be sentenced until October. The court ordered prohibition Arpaio prohibited Arpaio from racially profiling during immigration patrols and detaining people only suspected of being in the country illegally. Okay, there's some things here that are left out. There are a lot of things that the fake news media likes to leave out, and most of your cable news media stations like to leave out. And the most important one that I want to bring out, and then I'll let the other guests talk, is that the sheriff and his entire police force, which is over 200 officers, were sworn in by ICE, which gave them the federal authority to stop suspected illegal aliens if they so desired. Okay, so they had complete federal authority. They weren't acting outside of their jurisdiction because they had been sworn in by ICE. So I'll let Butch comment on that. And
Man, I got to tell you, that's the first I've heard that they were sworn in as ICE guys, and I don't think that. I mean, I can see that they would agree to, that his office. He would say, "My officers will be, out there vigilant on the front. I don't think that they raised their hands and swore.
They did raise
It's
their
called
hands.
287G.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that? Say it.
It's 287G.
Okay, and so they swore to uphold
They train them how to be ICE agents,
They train them and they
How to
take
be-
an oath.
how to be temporary ICE agents.
Okay, so all right. Even that said, so that was a thing that they had this. That
They
they had ICE authority.
Right.
Right?
They
Is that what
had
you're telling me? They
Right.
had ICE
They had
authority?
they had every legal right to stop people they suspected of being in the country illegally. So that's not really profiling. But would you like to comment on that?
Well, a lot of these actions are appeasements to get us to shut up. Okay, like let's look at the city of Irving, for example. They were going to go 287G, and then Carlos Quinceañera and another sidekick talked the city of Irving into going into what's called a memorandum of understanding. But that backfired on them because they deported 3,000 people the first year, and they were trying to put the brakes on it. Okay, so what Joe was doing was enforcing the law and protecting the nation, and it is federal law that they must have papers on them. If they're a resident alien, they must have papers on them.
Right.
So,
If you're in the country with a anything other than citizen, if you're in this country and you're not a citizen, you've got to have some kind of documentation stating that you're in this country legally.
And the government wouldn't require you to have that unless they wanted you to have it available to show.
To law enforcement.
Period.
We need to know who's in here and what they're up to. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two is that even though they had this authority, they did not just go out stopping everybody of Hispanic descent. They stopped people during traffic violations or while they were doing some other type of crime. And then if they determined they were illegal in the country illegally, he arrested them and held them for ICE. So
That's not even
do
what
you
the
have a
court
problem
case
with
is
that?
saying. Yeah, that's not even what the
no,
court case
that
is saying.
isn't what the court case
Okay.
is saying. The court case
Because they were
is
saying that they were saying, and they said that they found them guilty of racial profiling.
Right,
okay?
which is
like
the
actually doing
injustice
that.
we're
Now,
getting
now
to.
wait a minute. Now wait a minute. And that is an injustice. Don't you think that's an injustice?
287G was placed in by Bush.
I don't care what that
That-
287G
Obama-
and
No,
them
when
being
I
ICE
said
agents is. I'm not
injustice,
talking about
the
ICE
injustice
agents.
of him being charged for racial profiling when in fact he was not racial profiling.
But
That's
no,
the injustice.
No, that he was.
The 287G.
Don't you understand? You
the
guys
two-
keep putting up this 287G, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm outside of the 287G. Listen to this. Outside of that, okay, I get that that gives ICE authorities to do these things, okay? But ICE also can't racial profile, right?
Yes, they
No,
can.
they can't.
Yes,
The
they
federal
can.
law gives them a certain
yes,
amount of authority.
they can.
No, they
yes,
cannot
they can.
racial
the
profile.
FBI
That's the
can.
bottom
The
line,
FBI
right?
can racial profile.
You can talk to people at you can't just go around and ask every Mexican in a Walmart if they have papers.
That's not what they're going to do.
no,
Now
they,
listen, no, that's it. But listen, that is. Am I correct? Is you
But
can't
that's
do
not
that.
What they're going to do. That's a liberal spin.
No, but I'm saying that this is what they're doing.
No,
Though
no,
there's-
that
that's not
isn't
what
what
they're
they
what
were
they're
doing.
doing is they're seeing
If I stop you and you look like a deer in the headlights, it's automatically going to be probable cause for me. You can't speak a word of English, and you don't have it. And okay, let's take a look at Texas. I'm not talking about Arizona. Okay, in Texas, you can't get an ID or a driver's license if your paperwork's going to expire in less than 6 months, or if you have no papers. If anybody produces a matricular consular card, guess what? They are an illegal alien. 'Cause
I have
guess
no
who-
idea what that is.
It's
It's
a
a
card,
form of ID.
right? But it's get from the Mexican government, and it's only given to illegals because illegals can't get an ID or a driver's license in Texas unless they're here legally. So an officer that stops somebody in Texas will be able to know that if they produce a matricular consular card, that they're here illegally.
That's something
But
they
I
get
wanna
from the
get back to
Mexican.
the
That's
point.
an ID they get from the Mexican consulate so they can cash a
that's
check and
that's
stuff.
not accepted in Mexico.
Well,
Right.
it's a legal form of ID that's accepted by
Banks and such.
Banks, and it's also accepted in a lot of other places.
see, the problem-
you just can't get a driver's license, and
There's the problem with the whole overtone of what Arpaio was doing out there, and he was doing a lot of stuff like this. And I understand, as from a Minuteman, you're right behind old Sheriff
No, we
Joe.
had vomit in the way. Okay.
That's awesome.
well, we did have Obama in the way.
Listen, what I'm saying is, I'm
And we're gonna get
I'm
to
sure
that
you
in
guys all
segment
agree
two.
with Sheriff Joe's policies, but you guys, I really, really, believe that you guys have some unnecessary fears happening here.
I'm not afraid of shit.
I think you have some unnecessary fears because there's, where your statistics go wrong is that immigrants don't create more crime here. They create a less as a percentage than American people who born and raised here.
Hey,
Way
okay,
less.
hold
Way
on a
Way
minute.
less.
Okay,
And
okay.
listen,
No.
bad people are bad people, and there's going to be bad people. But you guys are going after a whole group of people, a whole race
Obviously,
of people,
you
essentially,
haven't-
of people. And you guys are talking about, because I think, that same percentage, which is really low, like it said it's like 2% on immigrants, whereas with Americans, the percentage is way
talking
higher.
about
Hold on a
immigrants,
minute.
not
We
immigrants.
already
I'm talking
have.
about all.
We already have our own homegrown
No.
crime. We don't need to import
No,
any.
that's what's
We have
funny.
plenty right
That's
here.
what's funny. That doesn't change between legal and illegal. That percentage, that's the other thing that doesn't
and I'll
change.
tell you something
of those
else.
committing crimes, you're going to say they're all committing a crime by being here,
No,
so they're
I'm
100%
saying I'm an American,
crime victims.
And I don't
I'm
want
gonna
people in
tell
my
you
country
that-
illegally, period.
Listen,
You
Well, I'm
did not watch the first pilot episode of the Ron Green Show, or you would know that if it were up to me, it would be a Class C felony to cross that border or overstay your
Exactly.
visa from the get-go.
And that's another lose because the consulates that issue the
We
visas,
only got 10 seconds. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
they don't notify the DOJ when the person doesn't depart the country.
I
That
know
should
that's
need to
right.
change.
I know that's right. Hey, you guys come back. We're going to talk some more.
You're listening to Your Choice, Your Freedom with Ron Green. Go grab another can of Dr. Pepper. We'll be right back. And we're back, folks. This is Your Choice, Your Freedom with Ron Green, finding solutions to America's problems.
All right, welcome back, folks, and thanks to all my Facebook viewers. We're here with Butch and Shannon, and we're talking about Sheriff Joe's constitutional rights being infringed in order to protect illegal aliens who have no business in the country to begin with. They need to stay their ass at home and come in legally, and that's my take on it. But Butch will not agree. He thinks we should, here's what I find interesting is that the liberals go, well, we should have open borders. Anybody should be able to come and go as they please. But when you say, okay, me and about 50,000 of my friends are going to show up at your house and squat in your living room, drink all your beer, eat all your food, watch your TV, sleep with your wife, then they go, oh my God, no, you can't do that. So what's the difference in a private property line and a national border, which is actually a private property line as well?
Man, I think that humanity is close. We're really, really close to making it through to the next level of existence.
Singing Kumbaya.
It keeps the next level of existence. We keep getting closer and closer. 50,000 years ago, it was little tribes here and there. Slowly, these tribes started to get along so they could do a bigger thing, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And now we're at a point where we know the whole gosh damn planet is right here. There's no more fucking land. Okay, there isn't. That's it. We found it all. Okay.
There's always
Wait.
the moon.
We keep drawing all these borders. We keep drawing all these lines. The maps on the planet, and America is responsible for drawing most of the damn lines out there, and you guys know that.
I don't know how to put this to you, but Europe drew their lines long before America drew any lines.
But dude, since World War II, since I was in grade school, the continent, the maps of the planet have gotten about 100 more countries on them, okay? And we were really responsible drawing all these lines. We need to quit drawing all these fucking lines, man.
Here's a rule of thumb, okay?
It needs to be like the United States. The whole planet, I know this sounds big, but the whole planet needs to be like the United States. The great thing about the United States is we're all from somewhere else. None of you motherfuckers are from here. None of
Okay,
you.
hold on. I
Nobody's
am
from
from
here.
here. I
Right.
was born here.
Yeah, but
I
look,
am from here. No,
but when
that
we-
line of
but
shit
when you
don't
go-
work. I was born here.
But no, that's what that line of shit is what people
Okay.
are fighting over for all these
Okay, but
years.
look,
Quit it.
there are losers. And
Quit it.
that's them. and then there are winners, and that's us. They need to get over it. They get
No,
over it.
dude. But if the whole planet could be like the United States, where you can go from place to place, state to state, without
They
any
call that a
problems.
one world order, right?
Oh,
Well,
see now
they-
you guys put such a
hey,
dirty.
hold on,
you
hold
guys
on.
put such a dirty. That thing's gotten that term has gotten really dirty, and I hate that term because
We need
I don't
William
want.
Shatner in
I
here,
don't
okay?
want that real world, new world order that you guys are assuming, that you guys are talking about. That fucking the one. No one wants that. What I'm talking about is a planet that's not freaking
Look-
fighting over little pieces of land and over
okay,
religion
we're
and
gonna
over the
get
color
back.
of your
Well,
goddamn skin. Holy
It
crap.
has nothing to do with color of skin. It has to do with it has to do with this is mine and this is yours. If you want a piece of mine, you need to ask my permission. You don't just get to come and take it. Okay, this is mine, this is yours. This is my property, this is your property. You stay on your side of the line and I'll stay on my side of the line. You may not like the line, but that line is there for a reason.
Exactly.
Listen.
Okay, and the next
listen.
thing is we're going to move
But
on
the
to the
borders
second
between
part.
the states, they are not. We get it. That's Texas. That's Oklahoma. But there's no reason to go shooting those people for coming over here and buying
No,
some
because
gas and
they
whatnot.
are
Shouldn't
a
they?
part of the
Why,
United
right, but why can't
States.
the whole planet be that
Mexico
way?
is
What's your
not
problem? What's your
Europe-
problem with the whole
Europe-
planet being that
Europe
way?
adopted that.
What-
act.
What's your problem
on,
with the
hold
whole?
on,
Wait,
I'm-
what's your problem with the whole planet being the way the states is? I'm just asking. What's your problem with that theory? If you made the whole planet your one world order that you fear so much, but not just a place just like the United States, the whole planet is that way, and we all get along, and
I'm
we all
interested
participate in
Shannon's
electing.
order.
Huh?
I'm interested in Shannon's order.
Would you stay the fuck out of America?
Stay off my property.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, let's say for the sake of argument that every other country in the world would want to adapt that, which they're not going to, because in the Middle East alone, they've got a tribal society, and they can't even form a nation inside their own country. So let's forget that. And let's look at how that philosophy that he's talking about has worked out for Europe. Once you get inside of Europe at all, you can go anywhere you want, no papers required. You can do whatever you want.
They're enjoying that right now, too.
Hell yeah! It was on the news this morning that Italy is out with fire hose cannons and their police force, their riot police, clearing out so-called refugees that are squatting in other people's property.
This is what you're facing, okay? The most unconstitutional profiling method will not work. The two doctors in England, for examples, they did what they were supposed to do. They went to school, and all of a sudden, what did they do? Pick up the phone, and somebody said, jihad, and they said, I will obey. And then they went and blew up that airport terminal or whatever it was.
Do what now?
Okay, well that's a totally different
just saying
subject.
that-
We're not
that
going
we
down
cannot
that road.
protect our
Well,
nation.
and what I want to talk about is the fact that in this segment is the fact that Sheriff Joe did exactly what he followed the law to the letter of the law. Okay, a judge. A federal judge under the Obama administration issued him an order to stop enforcing the law. First of all, no judge can issue an order to a police officer to stop enforcing the law. It is unconstitutional. It has not been tested yet, but this case could be the one that tests it. I doubt it, because it's going to get overturned on the next thing. The next thing in his trial is Sheriff Joe asked repeatedly for a jury trial, and the judge denied it.
Well, then that's
Which
allowed
is
to go by itself.
that's right. It's going to get thrown out. In this country, if you want a jury trial, even for a jaywalking ticket, you're entitled under the United States Constitution to a jury trial. No judge can deny you a jury trial. And that's where we're at. So was he targeted? Yes. Did we have a judge acting on their political ideology rather than on the law?
there are a
Yes. Should illegal aliens be deported? Yes. I mean, what you're arguing is what you want, and where you need to start is in changing the law. If you can convince the majority of the American public that the law needs to be changed, and you can't do that.
Well, he had a state law backing him up too. When I left in 2005, the Arizona voted in a smuggling law, a state smuggling law. So that's what Joe was arresting him for. He was arresting him for organized crime, conspiring to smuggle each other. So the people that were being smuggled conspired with the smugglers, the coyotes, and that's what he was arresting them under. Perfectly legal. And then he had 287G authority on top of that. And Obama went after him to put a stop to him.
He could stop anybody under 287G. He could stop anybody he suspected of being in the country illegally.
The wonderful thing was when the federal law
if he's in a convenience store and someone goes in there, no matter what their nationality, and they cannot speak English, he has a right to stop them and ask them for their papers, whether they're from France or whether they're from Mexico or whether they're from someplace in the Middle East. If you don't speak fluent English, you are subject to being stopped and asked to produce papers. There are very few American citizens who cannot speak at least broken English. And those are the ones that speak broken Englishes are immigrants who came here legally and are in the process of learning English. So I don't know what to tell you except Sheriff Joe got shafted. And there's no doubt in my mind that if it doesn't get overturned on appeal, that President Trump is going to
He's very busy.
is going to appeal.
That's Trump calling him right now.
Is
Giving
going,
Ron Green.
I'm sorry, I should have turned this off
That's
before
Sheriff
the
Joe
show
trying to get him to
started.
pronounce his name correctly.
Right. Sheriff Joe trying to correct
But
that name
with
pronunciation.
that state smuggling law, I think he had a 90% conviction rate.
You know, here's the bottom line. If you go back to the court case that he was found guilty of racial profiling, and if that's the
By
case,
a
now,
single judge.
found guilty of racial profiling, so he
By
put
a
whole-
single judge. He wants to leave that part out. See, that's what liberals do.
on
They-
many sides.
See, normally a judge wouldn't
no,
do
by
that.
a
On many
single
sides.
judge. By
Okay,
a
so
single judge.
my bottom line is he was given an order, and then that's what he was rearrested for, was the contempt of going against, so you're arrested for contempt.
Disobeying
The
orders.
charge, the charge is disobeying a direct order from a judge, which was an injunction or whatever you want to call it that he had on him. But so he went out and continued to do that, and what it is whether you like it or not, whether it was or not, that's what it was racial profiling. That's what the court found it to be. The court found it to be.
Court did not find that. A single judge found that. A single Obama liberal judge found that. If he had done everything by the book the way they wanted it, they still would have found him guilty of something. They wanted him to stop.
I predict the day before.
And it
the
was an
business day before
unconstitutional
sentencing,
order
he's
in the
pardoned.
first place.
You think the business
day-
day
the
before
day before.
sentencing, he'll be
The day
pardoned?
before,
He's
pardoned.
not going to get sentenced. Trump is going to let this
He'll do
play
it
out.
the day before, and then
They're going to let it play out to the point.
Is he
They're
gonna?
going to let it play out to the appeal process, and then if he doesn't get appeal based on the fact that he had a kangaroo court, then Trump's going to step in and appeal it.
Well, I mean, why would they not let jurors decide? Why wouldn't
And,
they?
We only got about 30
I
seconds,
find that
so-
hard to believe that was actually the case. He said it. Did you see that written anywhere? I didn't either.
Okay,
So
well,
I'm going
you
on-
guys
I'm going
need to
on
learn
information.
how to go to Google and type in a search.
It
okay,
seems- it seems pretty-
it's there if you actually
seems-
want it. It's all my
That
Facebook
seems like
viewers
too
go
big of
in
a
there.
loophole.
All my Facebook watchers go in there and do the search. All the information will come
You're
up.
listening to Your Choice, Your Freedom with Ron Green. Go grab another can of Dr. Pepper. We'll be right back. Hey, Your Choice, Your Freedom with Ron Green is back. What are we fixing today, Ron?
Hey, what we're fixing, what we're trying to do is straighten Butch out. Okay, fixing Butch, I don't know.
That can't be done.
I've heard he's been, fixed in one way, but I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to anybody. I don't know, but I want to welcome Butch and Shannon back, and we're discussing Sheriff Joe and illegal immigration in general, but I do want to get this one point across, and this
boy.
is very important, is that Butch doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about at this point. He doesn't even know what the actual case is. He assumes that because this judge found him guilty of contempt of court, that Joe is automatically guilty.
Well,
Now,
that
no,
and I
hold on,
also
hold
knew
on.
that-
And this is not Butch's fault. I'm getting to the part where it ain't your fault, see, because I'm a just guy. Okay? This is not Butch's fault. This is the fake media's fault because they have not reported the facts of the case. They've just reported that he's been that he defied a court order and that he was found guilty of defying the court order, and that's all they're reporting. They're not reporting the fact that, first of all, it was an illegal court order, and second of all, that he was not given a jury trial, and third of all, he had full authorization from ICE to be doing what he was doing. I mean, there's a whole laundry list of things here that were not widely reported. So, yeah, on the surface, it looks like, well, who feels sorry for Joe? He was doing this evil thing. He was stopping every person of Hispanic descent and asking them for papers. And that is not what was going on.
Most of his deputies are of Hispanic background. So it's
Yeah,
kinda
but
hard
he
to-
stopped them every morning when they came in to go to work and asked to see their damn papers.
And
That-
their badges, yeah.
That's the way it's put out there. I mean, the majority of the American people have no clue as to what's really going on because very few of them do anything other than scan headlines, okay? They're busy. They got kids to get to soccer. They got a lot of stuff going on. And another thing is the majority of the people want these illegal immigrants deported. That's another thing.
No matter what country they're from.
No matter what country they're from, that's another thing that the fake news media does not report.
Cochise
What
County
they
ground zero.
what they do are show these protests, and it looks, oh my God, the whole country must be against this because there's 1,500 or 2,000 people marching against it. Okay, the majority of people don't waste their time doing ridiculous marches, chanting silly chants and holding up silly signs. The majority of people don't do that. They know that all they've got to do is turn out on when it's time to vote and vote. You know,
And I
that's the
think we
way.
showed 'em that,
That's the
didn't we?
way we really get stuff done in this country. There may actually be a time to protest an injustice. The 1960s was a time like that. There hasn't been another time like that in this country since the 1960s. And they do it so often now that people are going, oh my God, are these lunatics at it again? I mean, nobody even cares. They do it so much nobody even pays any attention unless somebody dies. Nobody cares. If anything, they're turning people against them day in and day out.
Did you know about Steve King? He's going to redefine portions of the 14th Amendment on the birthright citizenship, and he's got a bill to make English the official language.
Okay, well, first of all, you can't just submit a bill. It's got to be a constitutional amendment change. That's got to be approved by 2/3 of Congress and 2/3 of
Got
the
my fingers
states.
crossed. Got my fingers
2/3 of the states. I'm saying that's a heavy lift. Now, we've got the governors to get it done, but we don't have the House to get it done. And
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
what's got you
Hey,
perplexed?
I looked that up, by the way, so I was making sure about that. He wasn't denied a jury trial. He was denied to have a jury look at the last contempt one because his feelings were that just a judges just normally decide that on that case. It's not his trial. It's did he violate this order? And is he now in contempt?
You know
and,
what?
And he said a judge can't. He said a judge can't be unbiased because the charge you're looking at was put in place by another
Okay,
judge.
here's
and he thinks that the
and
judge
this is
can't
part
be
of the court record. This is
unbiased.
part.
And
This
a
is
judge
part of the
has
court
to be.
record.
That's why they're judges. They have to be
Oh,
unbiased.
please! Oh my God, he didn't
They're
just
sup-
say
they're
that.
supposed to be.
They're supposed
Right.
to be. How many
Right.
times has the Ninth District Appeals Court been overturned? Ninth Federal District Court been overturned?
Holy macaroni.
99.99.99% of
And
the
it's
time.
absolutely
They
what a
are
judge
not
does not
unbiased.
want.
But here's
A judge does
the
not want
here's
his
the
stuff overturned.
if you look at the actual trial transcripts, you will see that the judge asked for a jury trial. In this country, under the Constitution of the United States,
The
I don't
judge
care.
asked for a jury trial?
No, Joe
Yeah,
asked
Joe
for. And in this country, under the Constitution of the United States, if you ask for a jury trial,
This wasn't
for
the trial.
for a jaywalking ticket,
This wasn't the trial.
you can't. The judge is the one that found him guilty, and the judge
It
is
was
the
a
one
hearing.
that's going to.
It was a
It doesn't
hearing.
matter.
It wasn't a
If he
trial.
asked
It was
for
a hearing to
jury-
decide if that court order had been violated.
Yeah,
and
well, they
so
can't
the-
just
a
hold
hearing-
a hearing if you ask for a trial.
Well, they
The
can.
judge does no. The judge does not
'Cause he
have that
just
authority.
did.
You have well,
And
and,
it's
it's
not
just
something
going to
that-
get overturned on appeal.
It's not
too.
something that I think that it's like I can't say that for sure, but it sounds like pretty much that's kind of the way it goes with that part of it. It's not a jury trial. You don't get another trial now to decide did you violate this thingy. That's what the point of it is. You don't do another freaking trial. You have a hearing, you decided it was violated, and now you're in contempt. And now you're going to be sentenced for contempt.
If you request,
You know what
a
I mean? It's not a jury trial matter at this point. It's
The
like, okay,
judge can't-
was this black and white law? Was this black and white letter law?
Still, you don't put
No,
a retired federal
you're
police
wrong.
officer
You're wrong.
and a sheriff in jail for contempt of
A,
court.
s-
You don't do
a-
that.
if you request a trial, a jury trial, whether it's a hearing or not, the judge can't rule without letting you have your day in court. If you agree to those
Seems to me
circumstances,
like-
you can.
seems to
But
me like
a hearing. That's like going down to traffic court, and the judge goes, "Okay, your fine is $350," and you go, "Okay," and pay it. Then it's a done deal. But if you go into traffic court and the judge goes, your fine is $350, and you go, I want a trial, I specifically want a jury trial, under the Constitution of the United States, they have to give you a trial. They have to give you a jury trial. A judge cannot unilaterally decide anything other than a motion.
I think that this is a different thing. I think it's a different thing.
I
so.
think you're going to find out that the Constitution is pretty clear about putting somebody in jail without giving them due
No,
process.
I get it. I get
Okay.
it. I think when you get into the federal court system, they kind of do it. It's a little different, and I get that
Well, I don't think it's different. I just think that
They get away
there's
with
this
different
far
rules
along,
for hearings versus
this-
trials.
Yeah, exactly. This far along, it's not a trial anymore, is what we're saying.
Well, you can say that, but the fact is you cannot have a hearing to replace a trial. That's why we have a Constitution. A judge cannot decide, well, we're not going to do a trial, we're just going to have a hearing.
He had a trial.
He didn't have a trial on the second charge. He had a
Right.
hearing on the second
Right.
charge. You can't charge someone with another offense without giving them a trial.
I believe
they-
that was
This
all
is-
part of the system.
Was it
but
called? Was it
It
called a show
doesn't-
cause? Is that what it's called?
I have no idea.
See, this is another place liberals get confused. They assume because some judge or some state municipality or even some federal agency set up a system to deal with things, that supersedes the Constitution of the United States. They change the way things are done, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, they can't change anything that violates a person's constitutional rights.
Man, I was in the military, man. They double jeopardy my
You
ass
have
Okay,
no
twice.
rights in
when
the
you
military.
join the
You have
military,
no rights in the military.
when you
Right,
join the military,
exactly.
or when you're
double
drafted,
jeopardy like 3 times, like yeah,
when,
in one
when
thing.
you join the military or you're drafted, you sign a piece of paper that says you understand you're giving up all your civil liberties. And if that wasn't clear to you at the time you were signing your life
Oh,
away,
it was clear.
they made it very clear when you got off the bus, and that drill sergeant said, "This is not a democracy. This is a dictatorship, and I'm the dictator."
It got clear. It got clear. It stayed
And
clear.
if you were still confused, they had a way of helping you see the light.
Right? Con
I
Air at
know.
Leavenworth. It was very clear when you're
well,
your
I
belly
didn't-
changing
I-
leg shackles.
Or bars of soap.
Right? Billy Jean's and leg shackles.
So let's say that Butch is right, which I don't know. I've known Butch for a short time, but I did look him up on the internet.
And I'm not right very often.
And it appears that his track record is like the Ninth Appeals Court in California. It's not real good. So what I'm going to say is let's assume he's right, and let's assume that on appeal that it doesn't get overturned and he doesn't get his jury trial, or that the charges aren't dropped.
And so he gets sentenced.
And
now
he
you
gets
want to
sentenced.
ask, is it okay?
Now then, should he get an appeal?
No, you're talking about that.
I mean, should he get a pardon?
If I was president, yes, without a doubt.
Would
No.
you pardon him? Why not?
No.
What do you got against the guy?
You know what? It's because here's what it is. If it just comes down to one simple thing, suck it up, Buttercup. That's what you know.
Okay.
Okay, great. I've been waiting for that.
Wait. He's been his whole time in office. That's what he was doing.
Okay.
To people, he was like, "Screw you! I don't care what." They're in there going,
Are you
"Dude,
still
I'm
upset
innocent.
about
You're
the
putting
pink
me,
shorts?
you're putting me in pink and making me sleep in a tent." And
commute his sentence then.
But listen. So
pardon me.
and you know what he would say? There'd be innocent people out there because there are. There would be non-violent people. There would be good people because good people go to jail.
Okay.
And yet he would treat them all. Hey, screw you.
You're listening to Your Choice, Your Freedom with Ron Green. Go grab another can of Dr. Pepper. We'll be right back. And we're back, folks. This is Your Choice, Your Freedom with Ron Green, finding solutions to America's problems.
Okay, we are here with Butch and Shannon, and we all except Butch have been having a very intelligent conversation about Sheriff Joe.
Look, me and Shannon are going to go get a cold beer after this, man.
And in this segment, we discussed Butch doesn't want to give him a pardon. He should suck it up. I want to say on that before we get into this next point that's exactly the way I feel about illegal aliens when they start talking about I've been here 20 years and you're dividing families and I have a right to be here. You know what I say? Suck it up. You knew when you came in here that you could be deported at any minute. So there you go. That's the way I feel about it. So anyway, I know.
No. I don't disagree because the way the laws are. I don't disagree about that. You know, people should go through the processes,
the legal process
of
right.
migrating to a country. Yada yada. A lot of times that's not open to people, and I just say that if there's people here and you've gotten here, you're this far, there should be another way to go about it. And
okay,
I think
then Ron and I can go rob a bank, and if we don't hurt anybody, and in 5 years
right.
we don't get caught, then we get to keep the money.
Right. And
Well,
after all, we've had the money for 15, 20 years now.
you guys are looking at it like it's this.
Like
you
it's
guys
a
are,
crime.
You guys are comparing
like
it,
it's a crime.
Yes, you're comparing it to a kind of crime
All
where.
right, turning that back around on Joe. You know what the type of crime Joe committed? A misdemeanor. What is entering this country illegally? A misdemeanor. But we're going to let them go free, and we're going to put Joe in jail for committing a misdemeanor.
Listen, you're talking about going out and committing, a felony, robbing a bank, and then comparing that with somebody coming over here.
Well, let's put it like
illegally.
I'm saying even if it's a crime, and I get that it's a crime, I get that, and we all know that even in our courts, it's a misdemeanor crime. First of all, and secondly,
it's a civil.
If people,
offense.
very good. If it comes to, when you look at these people, there are so many people before now that have come here that were our ancestors that came here like this, just
there
coming
were no
here.
laws back then. That's
Back
not a
then,
good-
Right. No,
right.
because the laws, the putting the laws in is kind of the problem. There should just be another way around
the laws
this.
are
There
not
should
the
be
problem.
another way around it.
That was 200 years ago.
People
the
start
country was
fearing and separating us
The country
and-
was wide
It
open.
is-
There were
it's our
an
fault because we stopped in Mexico City. We should have just finished it.
Oh no, I'm not going that far. I will say that when Texas won their independence, that they should have never joined the Union. I will say that.
$15
But
million.
I'm not going to say the United States government.
That's what they joined the Union for.
That's what they settled with Mexico. $15 million.
For what?
That ended the war. They paid them. That was
The War of 1812 or the right? Because Texans
Mexican-American
wouldn't have
War.
given them shit except lead. I mean, that's the way we are. But anyway, so what effect, if any, would a pardon have on the current political climate?
Man, I think we all know the
Look,
answer
he
to
can't
that.
do anything right according to the liberal left. So heck, just roll the dice.
I tell you what, there would be. There would be a riot in what town or county is he in? Whatever.
Maricopa.
Maricopa. The liberals from all over Arizona would come in there for a day, throw a little temper tantrum, probably break some private property and beat up some
Remember, they're
people.
open carry in Arizona.
Yeah, they're likely to get their ass shot, ain't they?
Hey, the thing with
Nothing.
the
And-
thing
and
with
the
that,
short
with
term-
the political climate, and that's another thing. And you say, oh, what the hell? You can't get nothing done. You don't let it. They don't.
Look at George Takaki. I mean, he can't say one good word about Trump since he's been president.
Man, I can't say one good word about him. Do you know he's lied 1,500 times
If
to
he
the
scares-
American
if he
people?
scares the
Okay,
Republicans and the
here's
Democrats,
the
he's gotta be good.
difference
What,
between.
what about lying to
Here-
you? What about
here's-
just the lies? Just go there.
Okay,
What
okay,
about that
let's
he
just
lies
go
every
there
day?
for a second.
He
Let-
lies
let-
every day, 3 or 4 times a day.
Okay, how many lies did Obama tell? Nobody knows because we weren't counting. We knew he was lying
So
on a
what are you
regular
saying?
basis. How many times
I
did
say
Bush?
they all
how
lie.
many? Exactly.
I say they all lie. But
So
no,
why
dude,
are you keeping
but
score on this one guy?
keeping
and we
score
didn't
'cause
keep
it's
score on
time.
Obama and
I
Bush
have
and
kept
Clinton.
score. I did keep score.
When's the last time we haven't had a politician? This is the first time I
This
can
is the
remember.
first
When we
time.
what?
We got a wild card, and I would rather have a wild card than to continue down the
Not
same
only
road.
did we get a wild card, but Bernie
me-
Sanders is right.
let me
There
just
is a
say-
political revolution coming,
No, let
but
me
it ain't
just-
coming from the left. It's coming from the center. We're going to have the whole country
you
full
know-
of Donald Trumps.
No, dude. He's
we
he's
are.
lying to
We-
you guys.
wh-
He's lying to you. What? How do you not hate what he's done with every agency that he's put somebody in charge of? They're the anti that agency. You're not worried about the environment.
Absolutely
You're not worried
not.
about it for your kids.
Hey, you're lucky it's him.
Are
and
you
not
worried
me.
about this planet for your kids?
No,
I'm worried about Mars.
no. My kids won't be alive when the next ice age comes. That's 2,000 years away. A
It
lot
could
can
be-
happen in 2000.
It could be 20
I
years
think-
away.
No,
we oughta
it
focus on
can't
Mars.
be.
Huh?
It can't be.
We
gotta
gotta
focus
focus
on
on
Mars.
Mars.
It's 2,000 years away.
I think that
and
you know
so it's a couple of hundred years earlier. If man is having an effect on it, who the hell cares?
What about the banks and just unleashing the same
my
assholes who
God.
started
Oh
the
my
banking thing that
See,
made the whole thing fall
th-
apart?
this-
Now, the
this is-
Democrats were warned of this, and they disregarded it too because they had money in their pockets.
He put it right back to where it was
Hey,
when we
excellent,
after
good
that,
idea.
after that
excellent,
fallout.
excellent. You know what? Since
After
that's
that fallout, we put
Hey,
laws
you know
into
what
place so they
happened?
couldn't do it
You know
again,
what
and he
happened?
removed those.
You know what happened since he removed those regulations? I was able to get a loan to expand my business. Okay, really,
on, man.
and that's honest.
Come on, dude.
Before that, because of
No,
those
that goes
regulations, I
Dodd-Frank.
could not. No, Dodd-Frank didn't have anything to do. Yeah, Dodd-Frank did. All those regulations, the bank would go, no, we can't do this because the new regulation says you got to have this and you got to have that. They go away. I go in there. I get the loan.
Ah, come on, man.
I'm
think
not lying.
The most important thing is wisdom. We got to learn from the past. We got to make sure it doesn't happen in the future.
So, but you can't stop these animals once they're in there, dude. They're gonna just do
He's
what the hell
not
they're
an
gonna
animal. He's not an animal. You know,
Talking
you're,
about the-
you're lucky it's him
do. Talking
and not
about
me.
you're talking about the people who we bailed out those banks. They're not freaking animals.
No, they are not. Believe it or not, believe it or not, they are financial institutions.
That little whole mess of the mortgages and all that shit that made them all
Started
collapse.
with Bill Clinton.
It started even before that. It started
It
even
started
before that.
with Bill
It started
Clinton.
even
No,
before
it
that.
didn't.
It started with during the Reagan era was when it began, and then it kept expanding.
Well-
and listen, bottom line is it happened through all those freaking eras,
okay,
and they
everybody.
operate separate from the administration. And the administration tries to rope them in, and they put in the Dodd-Frank. First thing you do is you get in there and you pull that shit out for once they tried to rope them
Absolutely.
in.
This is the first time that we actually got a wild card but we might be able to get 60 or 70% of what we deserve as Americans.
How are you going to get anything, man? They're
Okay.
taking everything.
We don't need the
Well,
Democrats
hey, you know
taking
what?
them off point.
To you, they're taking everything. To us, they're giving it back.
I
They
want-
already took it
I
away
want-
from us.
I do not want no more than 35% contractors and companies. I want 65% of them to be employees. No more.
Okay, screw that. You don't have the right to say how many employees I have to have or don't have. Okay,
Wait a
I put
second.
my I put my money. I put my money into the company. I take all the risk. I'm going to hire as many or as few people as I want to hire. And if you're not don't have the skill set to start your own damn business, that's on you. That ain't on
But
me.
you see what? That's going to be upset both sides. But I don't believe people should work for a company for 9 years and then all of a sudden be laid off with no type of equity or anything in the company.
Well, you want equity in the company when the company's being founded and I'm living in a damn truck trying to get it going? I tell you what you do. You come along and give me some friggin' money and we'll talk about equity. But you're not going to talk about equity after I've got it up and making money. I guarantee you ain't getting
You
shit.
don't believe a person that works for 10, 15 years for your company deserves some type of
You know what they
package?
deserve? They deserve the salary the fair salary they got paid. They should have had enough responsibility to take some of that money and put it aside for their retirement. They're not entitled to 1 cent of my money.
Well, Harley Davidson disagrees. Winco Foods disagrees.
I don't give a shit
Burlington
about
Northern
Winco
disagrees.
Foods. I don't run Winco Foods. I run RDG Painting Inc.
I like that part where you got something invested. My dad was
Okay, you're going to have to give up your American citizen card.
my dad was bailed on as a steel worker.
I don't. And you automatically thought I worked 30 years and I retire. And
And he got nothing.
And you
he
get
got
nothing.
nothing. He got shut the hell out. The company just
I'm just
closed
saying,
and
somebody
collapsed
works
and
for
went
20
overseas.
years
He
should
did. He
get
worked for
something.
27 years and got stiffed.
Here's something you need to realize.
SSI. Is
That
all he got.
people that are smart enough to build a financial empire are going to be smart enough that you can't get their money. Okay, I'm just serious. You pass a law like you pass a law like that, and I'm Winco Foods. Okay,
Winco's
what
already
I'm
doing
going to do
They're already doing it.
is file bankruptcy.
they're employee
Okay,
owned.
I'm going to file. Well, they're employee owned. RDG Painting ain't.
Okay.
Okay, that's the big difference. Now then, the stop and go grocery stores or convenience stores were employee owned too. They lasted about 10 years and then they went belly up.
They
So
should've
we'll
stayed out of
see.
Vegas.
We'll see how long Winco Foods last. But nevertheless, my point is this: is that when you go after big banks, when you go after major corporations, they got theirs. They already got theirs. So
this,
okay, we're going to have to end the show here. We didn't really decide how it was going to affect the political scene.
I think we all know.
I will tell you it will be fine, except for a few little whiny
protesting.
crybabies. All right, y'all be sure and check me out on Facebook and all that good stuff.
Ron
and
Green
come
will
back
grind
and
it
see us
for you.
next week. Thanks. Thanks to Butch and Shannon. Y'all
Thank
come
you.
back and see us now.
Thank you, Ron Green. That was a perspective, my friend.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in to Your Choice, Your Freedom with Ron Green. We'd love to hear from you. Join the movement and voice your concerns at yourchoiceyourfreedom.com.